Good morning and good morrow to thee, my loyal subjects. My name is Miah the King, and today we're taking a look at another game that released this morning on Steam called Ironsmith Medieval Simulator. So we'll be doing what I call a first impressions review video. Not quite a review, not quite a first impressions, but a weird amalgamation of the two. In this game, you play as a blacksmith. Pretty standard. There have been a few games like this released, but most of them come up short. But I love the idea, which is why we're here checking this out. Developed by The Epic Lore and published by Ultimate Games SA, the game is described on Steam as follows. Heroes are not born. They are forged in darkness. And who knows forging better than the Ironsmith himself? Experience the hardship of making medieval weapons, armors, and tools in a simulation taken with a grain of salt. Sounds pretty cool, right? Plus, it's perfect for me. I mean, I am a king after all. So let's dive right in and see if this game is going to be worth our time or money, shall we? For the first things that we're going to take a look at here, the negatives. Why? Because that's what stuck out to me first. Number 1. The game is very buggy right now, and before you ask or rage, the game is not currently being shown as early access on the Steam store page. So if it's not early access, then there really is no excuse for these bugs. 2 separate occasions I was stuck, unable to move. You'll see one of those later in this video, so pay attention. The game wouldn't even start up for me in the first 10 minutes after buying it, which almost made me not do this video at all. I've gotten stuck quite a few times, and I've noticed some significant frame rate drops as well, all within the first hour of playing the game. Number 2. The game doesn't look the best or sound the best, so I suppose I'll just say that overall quality is this negative. The graphics are just a bit off, everything looks fuzzy, and by the way, I'm running it on its top quality settings. Yet the coloration is a bit bland, the attention to detail is average at best, and overall everything just looks really bland and boring. As for the sound design, don't even get me started. The sound effects are super bland and boring, the voice acting whenever it actually happens, because it's sporadic when someone will actually talk, it's average, and sometimes the sound quality of the voice acting is pretty bad too. I mean, listen to this!
The war's been in the air for a long time. It's good you at least made it out alive. I think I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Olaf.
See what I mean? So it's not consistent either. One moment your dad is talking to you and he sounds perfectly fine, but then you hear that awful quality a few minutes later. Plus, everything seems super quiet. The music, sound effects, the voice acting, they're all super quiet even with everything I have turned up. Overall, not impressed with the quality of this game. And to add on to that, there were grammatical errors and misspellings located throughout as well. It definitely needs some quality control and a big update in this regard. Number 3. The tutorial. It's pretty boring and unhelpful. It tells you to do things, but not how to do them. I mean, it kinda does on some, and then leaves you to do your own devices on others, making it really hard for you to figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing or where. But while the tutorial was pretty awful, I am happy that it was here, and happy that I did eventually figure out what I was doing, you know. But I'm happy to say that those are the only real negatives that I could find that were worth mentioning here. I mentioned the overall quality, the terrible tutorial, and the awful, buggy, unrealistically bad stability of the game. But, you know, other than that, I couldn't really find anything that bad. I guess the story is kind of boring, maybe, but, you know, it's really just you being a blacksmith, so I'm just happy it has a story at all. But anyway, now we're going to head on to the positives and my final thoughts, but before we go there, I'd like to humbly request your assistance. For a small channel like mine, YouTube does almost nothing to help me be seen or to support the growth of my channel. So if all of you out there would please hit the like button, subscribe button, or share my video, it would really seriously help out my growth. And, you know, leaving a nice comment is always welcome too, so please consider helping me out. Thank you. Now then, on to the positives. Number 1 is the price. For everything this game gives you, and the possible amount of gameplay time it offers, the tons of different things you can do, and basically everything here, the game is only charging you $10. And it's on sale right now, or at least it was for me, so I only bought it for like $5 or $6. And that's American dollars, at least. I'm not sure how it is in the rest of the world. But for $10, this game is a steal. I love that price tag, and I actually feel like they are undercharging a bit for this game. Number 2. The game's mechanics and overall gameplay. Now, sure, while the game is a bit buggy, the one thing I'll say that this game, unlike any other, truly makes you feel like a blacksmith. The intricate details, the forging, the sculpting, the smelting, the personal touches you can put on the things that you craft. It's all there. It's all really well done, and it feels right and it looks right. But that's not all. You are a young man serving under your father, the resident blacksmith, as he teaches you and gives you responsibilities. You have dialogue options, you have jobs to complete, quests to get enough swords to this general or else barbarians will wipe out your village. I mean, it's all really cool and helps to immerse you into being a blacksmith. You even have to purchase supplies or build up relations with villagers. You can donate to somebody who's in desperate need, or you can be selfish and keep it for yourself. You have to chop your own firewood, feed your horse, and the list goes on. It's all really well done and gives a pretty engaging experience. Number 3, the creativity and attention to certain details. Overall, the game is pretty creative. You get to kind of customize your workshop a little bit later on. There are tons of different customizations for every item you forge. There are quests, job requests, story events, characters, influence, dialogue options, and the list goes on. You can choose to mine for your resources or just buy them, and the game pulls you around to different areas as you progress through the game's quote-unquote story. But this allows you to see all the different large variations of environments with new people, requests, and everything else. Obviously, these developers wanted a more immersive blacksmithing experience, and it clearly shows in the gameplay here. Alright, so that's all I got for the positives that I deem worth mentioning. So overall, what are my thoughts? Well, I like it. I've played a few other blacksmith simulators, and they all kind of just do the same thing. You're just stuck in your blacksmith all the time, and the only time you ever really get to speak to anybody is when they come to you for work, and half the time you don't even get to pick what your guy says. You just stand there all day making stuff over and over again, with the level of detail and complexity varying per game. But here, well, you kind of do that, but you also get to venture out of your blacksmith shop and explore and talk to people. You can pick and choose your jobs, and the game even simulates stressful situations. Or they might not be simulated, it might be story-based, but even so, they have them. I wasn't kidding earlier. There is a quest where a baron is asking you to make swords for him and his men so they can go fight some evil guy who's raiding villages. If you don't get them to him, then surely you will all die. After you completed the order, you get to watch as he gathers his men in the village and leads them off to battle, while you watch them go, uncertain of whether they'll live or die or if the barbarians are coming or not. I mean, it's pretty cool to see that what you're doing is actually having an effect, even if it's story-based. Now, is the game perfect? Hell no. The game is pretty garbage on a lot of different things, but in a lot of other ways it does give you a blacksmithing simulator that'll really help you feel like you're a blacksmith and help you immerse yourself. Should you buy this game? Well, that depends. If you've always wanted a real immersive experience as a blacksmith, then I say yes. Ignore the shoddy quality and just dive in, because good graphics and sound don't automatically make a good game. If you can get past the bad quality sound and graphics, you'll find yourself probably playing one of the most immersive blacksmithing games out there right now. Plus, it's only asking you for $10. Gas is more expensive than that these days. So I would recommend not going and getting gas and instead put that money into this game instead and just play it all day long and really get into it. I mean, you'd be getting your money's worth more if you bought this game than if you went out and bought gas. But be forewarned, the game is a bit slow. It definitely takes its time, and it's going to require you to take your time and to have patience to really get into this and enjoy it. Plus all the negatives that I mentioned earlier and the video you're watching now. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So if you still think that it's not worth it, then I wouldn't blame you, and I wouldn't hold it against you. But I would be doing this game and its developers a disservice if I didn't tell you that I personally think that it is worth it. The game is pretty crappy in a lot of ways, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it only asks for $10, and it'll probably give you far more than a couple hours of gameplay. In my opinion, the game is worth checking out. I, for one, will not be getting a refund, and I will be diving deeper to see what else this game has to offer me. So that's all I got for this video, everybody. I apologize that it's a little short, but I kind of got everything out I had to say fairly quickly. So yeah, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.